Hello everyone! Welcome to the violin case. Let's go ahead and turn to page 6, and we are going to look at 3 spaces in line and introduce our left hand today. So I'm hoping that you've spent a couple of weeks on the bow, a couple of weeks on getting your position really comfortable with your bow levels, and now we're going to do the left hand. My assumption is because you're a beginner, you would have already gotten tapes on your instrument. If not, graphing tape comes in lots of different colors. I would use an artist graphing tape just because it doesn't leave a lot of permanent residue. Don't use duct tape if you can avoid it. Sometimes painter's tape will work well too. So I am going to put a tape for third finger and first finger on my instrument. This on the violin, your index finger is first finger. This is second finger, and this is third finger, and that's fourth finger. We are going to work today on getting your hand to come down as a unit with first, second, and third finger. And violin has kind of a cool thing about it is that it's a little Star Trek-y. So you know how Star Trek has, oh boy, let me see if I can break this. I'm tough, right? I can break it. There it goes, yeah. Okay, so grafting tape works well. It doesn't stay on a long time. You don't want to use tapes for too long. You want to do some ear training along the route to getting your tapes off, and I'm going to show you in this video a little bit about how to get them on so that you're in tune with them. But so first finger goes on the first tape, third finger will go on this tape, and it's kind of important that they're in the right place. So if you have a tuner and if your A is in tune and you pizzicato third finger, then that should be an octave above D, or it should say that it's a D on your tuner. And then first finger on the A string. Okay, so then what you'll do when you find the right place is just kind of wrap it around the neck. And then that gives you a small guide for first and third. Now, I didn't do second finger because I'll tell you why. Second finger, such as, and this is where our Star Trek thing comes in, if you can do Star Trek, live long and prosper, for now, second finger and third finger are going to be best friends, and they're going to stay together, whereas first and fourth, when we learn fourth finger, are going to be what's called a whole step apart. So second and third are a half step, and first and second are a whole step. So they first finger and fourth finger don't like each other very much, and second and third finger are best friends, just for now. So when you put this on your instrument, I didn't get that very well. So put your position on, arm comes up, it still hangs. You put first finger on that first tape, third finger on the second tape, and then second finger nudges its little nose right up there. So you have open, one, whole step, half step. And don't worry about whole step and half step for now. Don't worry about the names of these notes. You already know your open strings. We're just going to focus on putting when third finger goes down, second, and first go down in a pattern that looks like that. And fourth finger, right now we won't use it, but eventually you're going to use it, and it will be in a pattern that is either a half step away or a whole step away. And sometimes first finger will move back too. But for right now, we're doing this simple pattern of one, high, second, and third finger. So that's your simple pattern for today. If you don't have tapes and you take it to a music store, if you're local in Austin, we'll put tapes on for free. But if you're not local to Austin, there should be a music store or a music teacher who will put tapes on for you. Offer to pay them, even if they say they'll do it for nothing. But there is your tapes. And third finger is an octave above or 8 notes above. So if you have a tuner, you can pizzicato that string and it should say D or it should say G. Just so you know, that may not make sense. But today we're going to introduce fingers. Tighten your bow to where you know you've got it. And if you look at page number 6, 3 spaces in line, you see every other measure has what you already have learned as an open string. So we have E, A, D, and G. And then the note after that is one that you're not recognizing yet, but it's going to be third finger always in this, because we're learning just to do, I'm not going to teach you the name of this note necessarily. I just want you to be able to play open 3 in a pattern. So we're going to go E to third finger on the E, then go open E to third finger on the A string. So you're going to change your bow playing down to the A string. Then open A, then third finger on the A, open A, third finger on the D string. If you want to learn these notes, I will also tell you that this is E, then this is an octave A. So it's an A 1 octave or 8 notes higher than your open A. This is D, or 1 octave higher than your open D. And that's the pattern. If you look at your rhythms in 3 spaces in line, all whole notes. Going to be super easy. We got this one, right? I hope so. But this is a new concept with your left hand. So get your position set up. Make sure you can hold it with your chin and your shoulder. Then look for those tapes. You're going to create a roundness to your fingers in your hand. Your thumb. Now there's different ways to do the thumb. Let me turn around a little bit here. Some people have the thumb being on that first tape straight up and down. Some people will do the thumb back and at a slight bit of an angle. And I am not sure which one works the best for me. I know depending upon what I'm doing, I change. But for the most part, I will do straight up and down with the bent thumb. You don't want to put too much pressure on the thumb. You definitely don't want to collapse your wrist. So the wrist is going to come, this arm turns, comes straight up. And the reason I think the straight thumb is probably the best idea is because that straight up thumb is the most relaxed, opposable way to get that thumb to work. And putting it back here, I feel like I can't then use my little finger, but up here I can reach my little finger. Little fingers need a little bit of work. But the one thing you want to be aware of is that this is flat. I play on a 15-inch viola, which is a little bit long, honestly, for my arm, but because of the versatility, I keep that up. But flat wrist, no collapsed wrists, none of this. Everything comes up from below. And when you put third finger down, you're going to also put down second finger and first finger. So they're all going together as a unit. So let's try this on 3 spaces in line. Relax. Get your hand in position. Make sure you're hovering over those tapes. This may sound really ugly in the beginning, but you'll get it. So set your bow, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, open E. 2, 3. Now all 3 fingers down in that pattern. Now change the bow level. Then open A. Just do this very relaxed. Now open A. And then third finger on the D string. Then open D. Then third finger on the D. Then open D. And third finger on the G string. And when you put third finger down, just let all your fingers below rest on the string too. So everything's in a position of being relaxed and round. You're not collapsing that joint into the fingerboard, but it's actually off the fingerboard. You have a round, you have your thumb coming up, but this is round, almost as if you have a glass or something in the middle. No locked joints. Let me talk a little bit about that. Sometimes you'll put a finger down and it'll do this. So no locked joints. Everything's going to be round, and that includes fourth finger when you get to it. I have a little bit of trouble with fourth finger on the violin because this joint wants to lock on me. So you have to kind of work at that. Keep your wrist real flat. And then you're putting all them down at the same time. And then on 3 spaces in line, you've got all whole notes, just either open string or third finger up on the string or third finger on the string below you. So work on this one. Make sure you get a good tone and that your bow is in the right plane of playing. And then route 404 is open and third finger as well, but now we mix rhythm. So we have quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, but it's still open string and third finger. So it's an exercise to get you used to playing different kinds of rhythms and still very simple notes. And then Route 404 has a teacher duet that we will do on our Done and Dusted video. I'm going to actually, we're 12 minutes into this, but let's look at Route 404, because if you get a chance to look at it, see how you have open D and then you have third finger on the A string. So we've got to work through this, and you've got to recognize these notes before you can come down here and do this one. So we'll do one more video to get you into Route 404 so that you can have a good week of practice on that, and then we'll do the Done and Dusted on the whole page, even though you've done 2 different videos on the practice part. So have a great week. Play your instrument. Get tapes if you need them. Tapes are temporary. We'll do some ear training so that you don't have to rely on tapes for very long. If you rely on them, it's like, using crutches when your leg is healed. You don't need to use crutches anymore, and the tapes are a little bit of a crutch. So I'll help you get used to taking off tapes and using just closing your eyes and listening to what you're playing and singing when we get to some of the familiar folk songs. So have a great week, you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.